And welcome back to this portion of our Real Estate Radio Hour. All right, guys, let's go to the phones. John in Rochester is calling. John, you're on CCO. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning.
I have another foreclosure question. The house across the street, a man bought it and he way overpaid for it. So he lost his job. He moved away, but before he did, he hired a house sitter who lives in there, and all she has to do is pay the utilities. Well, she took a job in California, so now the house, she's back maybe twice a year. She handed me the keys, and I walk through the house every now and then and kind of keep the bushes clipped and that sort of thing because I'm right across the street. I called the bank, and the mortgage has been sold to a bank in New York. And so I called the bank in New York, and they said, we don't want the house. We don't want anything to do with it. It almost sounded like there might have been some structural problems or some environmental problems. They're like, we don't want it. So what do you think's going on? I mean, the house sitter and me, and am I liable since I'm kind of watching it and kind of a mess?
You're not kidding. No, I guess the first part I wanted to, so is it in foreclosure or the guy bought it as a foreclosure and has the house sitter sitting in it?
It's in foreclosure, or he has stopped paying for it, but it doesn't look like they filed any of the foreclosure documents against him.
I'll tell you what, I'm showing a house on Monday morning that I just found out that it's been vacant for 6 years, and it's a foreclosure.
Yeah.
And that happens. That some of these houses get caught in those sales, and when they sell a mortgage, this is the hard part that's to understand, is they sell bad ones along with them. So and then they kind of get caught in between. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they bundle them all up. So they might sell 5,000 mortgages over to another company. Maybe that one in New York took it. Well, now they got to start over with it. And if that keeps kind of moving, that's what kind of happens at that point. But,
I was biting my tongue here a little bit because that's kind of that. Everybody says, there's no shadow inventory. That's exactly what shadow inventory is, where these banks are in the process of either holding the assets, and the way they can do their accounting now is different than they could back in 2007. They can do the mark-to-market law where it allows them to hold assets on their books longer. I won't get into all the details because I'm sure I'll misquote and somebody will want to talk about it later. But the idea is that the banks can hold those assets longer. So when they say they don't want them, they're buying paper. They want to make a percentage. They want to make a spread on that money. They don't want the assets back. I mean, even though we look at them as being a precious part of our lives, obviously providing shelter for ourselves and our families, they look at that as just being an investment vehicle. And so when they say they don't want it, they do. I mean, because that secures their money. But I don't know. It's an odd situation you're in there.
I know we have to break here in about 60 seconds, but here's a quick text. How do I get rid of cigarette odor before listing my house?
Yeah, there's a couple ways, and I know, and I'm gonna have that looked up. I've got a contact that we network with, and I'm gonna get that question answered. But I know Andy.
I got a quick fix because we get them all the time when they're foreclosed. I say strip out the carpet, then get a sprayer in there, spray the ceilings, the walls, and the ceilings. And we like to use Kills or
bin. Yeah,
it's
it's a white pigmented shellac, and it really seals everything.
It does. It seals those odors in, and then we put new carpet in, and we actually will clean out the ducts in the house, the ductwork, and it usually resolves that problem. Our average cost is about $7,200 per house.
You know what you could spray?
$7,200?
Exactly. That was my average last year.
You know what you could spray in there, too, a lot that I used over the years? Not that I've had that because I don't smoke, is Atmos Clear. It was locally developed, and it's an oxidizer, and you spray a bunch of that stuff, you'll never know you've been cooking.
And I know there's another one. There's another something that comes in, and they steam out the house because of the furniture. So if you're not, because if you don't get the furniture out, it's going to smell like smoke.
That's true.
And the blinds and everything. But the other thing that I want to say, for $7,200, it will cost you way more than that in lost equity if you don't, because smoke does hurt it.
We've got to go here. We got another half hour of the show to go. If you have a real estate question, 651-989-9226, or send a text at 81807.